us the way.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy Saturday. I am Kimberly Holmes Ross with Evanston Cradle to Career, where we work with over 40 partner organizations and agencies to make Evanston the most equitable place it can be. And I am here this morning. Good morning, advocates.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Man. We're here with Radio La Difference, our community radio platform. We are always happy to be here on Saturday morning. And it's February. Y'all, it's February already. And I would definitely probably arguably say it is the best month. Not only do we celebrate Black history, notice I didn't say month because Black history is every day, all day for us. But we celebrate love on Valentine's Day. And we celebrate some awesome birthdays in February, including mine, but some awesome birthdays in February. If you look around, one of our regular Saturday advocates is not here. Advocate Ty is not here. She often shares with us that she's a mother of 10 and she's celebrating three birthdays this weekend. So she's preparing for that. The twins, Tatum and Tiberius. Did I say it right, Amber? Tiberius. I knew y'all gonna get me straight. They're turning 5 today, and Raina is turning 8. So 3 birthdays. We're gonna give a big birthday shout out and some love to the 3 birthday kids. And Ty, we miss you, and we'll see you next week. All right. On that note, we are again celebrating Black history. We don't have any guests today. It's family. We're here talking about our favorite Black history moments. We're talking about what Black history means to us now and in the future. And to lead and kick off this conversation, we have Advocate Nindona, who is one of the best historians I know. I learned something from her all the time. So I'm really excited for her to come on and steer us this morning as I sit back and sip my coffee and talk about some Black history.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to Advocates for Action 2.0 Community Coffee. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm extremely passionate about Black history and the contributions that Black people have made worldwide. This particular edition, to kick off the month of Black History Month, I felt that it was necessary to talk about not only some of the contributions that our ancestors have made, but also the fact that we have often stood up in the face of injustice, in the face of oppression and marginalization. I've written a small introduction where I've written the ongoing fight to teach the true history of Black people prior to, during, and after slavery up to modern day is one that is an uphill battle. But once we are able to tell our stories, we will be able to dispel the myth of who we are as a people and what we have contributed to the world. Civilization began in Africa. Mathematics, astronomy, science, language, and art all began in Africa. But our history is excluded for one reason, and that is to reinforce the belief that we were beasts of burden, a people with little to offer than physical labor and entertainment, an inferior race, when in fact it was the skills and knowledge of our ancestors that made them valuable. Knowledge of architecture, knowledge of irrigation, goldsmithing, weaving, and so much more. There's also this belief that we never fought back, to the point where even today, some of our children are saying we are not our ancestors, believing that our ancestors just sat back and allowed things to happen to them and enslavement to happen to them when they fought from the very beginning They fought on the coasts of Africa. They fought once they arrived in the Americas. They created maroon colonies throughout, from the 1500s, where we had enslaved Africans who actually initially helped the Spaniards to navigate their way to the New World. And when those that were enslaved fought for their freedom in the 1500s and became free in what was Spanish Florida. On into in Africa, we had Queen Zinga in the 1600s, who fought with her people against the Portuguese to fight against the enslavement of her people. There's this story that unfortunately a lot of Black children believe that as a result of our enslavement, we've lost a connection to who we are. We've lost a connection to not only our identity, but also our way of being, which is not true. We can see it in our music. We can taste it in our food. We can also see it in the way that we interact with one another. One of the questions that I posed to our group this morning, which was, what does it mean to be Black? I'll start with myself. For me, to be Black is someone who culturally identifies as a Black person, and to be Black for me means that I acknowledge my ancestry as the descendant of a formerly enslaved person in this nation, but also someone who was the descendant of kings and queens and people that fought for our liberation and fought to make sure that our children would one day be able to stand up where we are now and speak freely about what we have contributed. And I believe that if all Black children knew that the reason why we are today is because of every single sacrifice that our ancestors made for them so that they can stand tall today and be proud of who they are. So before we go on, I would like to ask my fellow advocates who are on the line with me today, what does it mean for you guys to be Black?
Hello, everyone. So for me, what it means to me is to be proud. It means to be creative, deep-rooted with culture, very intelligent. It also means to be brilliant and troubled at the same time. That requires a lot of resilience. It also means to be aware of the racism that we have to continuously be aware of. And I'm proud to be Black.
I guess I'll go next. Hello, good morning, everybody. My late grandmother, Anna Williams, always taught me that being Black was beautiful. Not just her, but my mom also, and to always be proud of your heritage and where you came from. Being Black to me means being authentic, innovative, because we come up with so many inventions. Just to make life easier for us. Also, unapologetic. These huge earrings I have on today, they're my favorite earrings. And it says, unapologetically Black. And I am that. I don't wear earrings often, but if these are my favorite pair, and I will rock these. And I did just want to read a short passage. It says, as Black women, we are always given these seemingly devastating experiences that could absolutely break us. But what the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the master calls the butterfly. What we do as Black women is take the worst situations and create from that point. And that was a passage by Viola Davis during an interview. And that just resonates with me so much because I feel like that is what we do. We will take a situation that's meant to break us and turn it into a testimony. Thank you.
And Miss Kim?
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but we're up early preparing for this show. And Donna texted us the question this morning. So I had time to pull out the Radio Difference audience can't see this, but my Facebook audience should be able to see this. It's a red, black, and green crocheted tam. And my grandmother knitted this tam for my father almost 50 years ago. So this is our family Black history. And I pulled it out because there was always some red, black, and green in our house. And I was a kid, I had no clue. I thought maybe these are people's favorite colors. I didn't know. Until my father sat down and said, no. This represents Afro-American people. The red is the blood, the black is the people, and the green is the wealth. I was like, hey, so for me, being Black is always just being proud, just being beautiful. And like I said, I had no clue why we always had hats. And he even had a custom painted motorcycle. There were always flags in the house. I mean, everything was red, black, and green, just so proud. And it was so ironic. I'm not going to remember the name of the song, but I was listening to the old school songs this morning as I got ready. And they were like, it's a song saying, if there are all the colors in the world, which would you choose? If there is no day or night, which would be right? So I would choose Black. I love being Black. I think our Black is beautiful. And I just, for me, it just means being a very proud people. So thank you for asking that question. Thank you for letting me share my tam. I'm gonna wear it this winter. I got to get it dusted off. But thank you.
You're welcome. And then there's
one more thing. Can we
Yes.
ask our audience if you guys want to share, put in the comments what it means for you to be Black? We're going to share it on the air. So as we continue, please share with us.
And one of the many amazing things that I've learned along the way is that the more and more I research the history of who we are in this country, oftentimes we're taught to be ashamed of being descendants of those that were enslaved. But what I've come to believe is that the fact that we're still here and we fought, we didn't just sit back and allow it to happen to ourselves. We fought. And the further I go back and I look into the African people that were enslaved and taken into Central and Southern America, the first ones that fought for liberty and fought against the Spaniards were enslaved Africans in Central and Southern America. They made maroon colonies throughout Colombia called the Pelenquero, which is in Colombia. It's a group of formerly enslaved Africans that freed themselves on into the Guyanas, where you have Suriname and the French and Dutch Guyanas, where there were enslaved Africans who freed themselves, on into Mexico, where they fought. And against the Spaniards, Black people fought in order for Mexico to be freed from Spain. Black history is everywhere. Whether people want to acknowledge or not, it is everywhere. And we as a collective are descendants of those people, those that fought against the French in Haiti, those that fought against the Portuguese in Brazil. All of these people were enslaved Africans that fought for the freedom that made what is today the Americas. Even though many are trying to erase our history as Black people, we're here to help to educate the masses on what we have contributed as Black people throughout the Spanish colonies, the French colonies, the Dutch colonies, the British colonies, from every slave rebellion in New York in 1712 to South Carolina in 1739. We did all of that. And for someone to descend from people who were captured and enslaved, who liberated themselves and liberated others, to now lead the way to liberate even people in modern day, you'll find that the face of liberation, whether it's for the different gender identities, the different races and ethnicities, the face that's leading the way is the face of the Black person who has always been fighting to liberate everyone. And I just want to reinforce that we, as a people, need to make sure that we are involved in every step of the way, in every conversation, to make sure that our children and children of non-Black people know of our contributions. At present, there's a fight to change the curriculum to make sure that education of Black people is included in the education of the United States of America, outside of Black History Month, because we have been here from the very beginning, and our story must be told with every single chapter, with every every quarter. We were there, whether we were making the beds or building the railroads, we were included in it all. And I would also like to add that even when it comes to modern commerce, a lot of it is based on who we were as a people. Insurance was created as a result of slave revolts because our ancestors fought so much and actually commandeered fleets against from the British and the Spaniards that they had to create insurance policies to be able to cover their losses from lost ships and lost slaves. So the more we understand about how what we've done is interwoven into the history of not only the United States, but all of Western civilization. All of this is as was built on the backs of our ancestors and what we contributed. And we mustn't forget that. And we must make sure that our children are aware of that. And I think that if our children and all children know who we are and what we have done to make this nation what it is, imperfect as it may be, if it were not for our ancestors doing all that they did, none of us, be it Black woman, white woman, Indigenous woman, Asian woman, none would be able to walk freely if it were not for the formerly enslaved and at that time enslaved Africans standing up to fight for everyone. And we have to reinforce that in the minds of our children. And I wanted to read a poem, and it is from a man who was born Festus Claudius McKay. He was known by the name of Claude McKay. He was born in Sunnyvale, Jamaica in 1889. And he was a very proud Jamaican man and proud of his African ancestry. And he did eventually immigrate to the United States, and he was a part of the Harlem Renaissance. And he wrote, "If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and pinned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us, though dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men will face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying, but fighting back." And I say that to reinforce that although we might be outnumbered by those that are negative, we will not go down without a fight. And I also love the poem by Maya Angelou, "I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings." And I won't read that poem, but I will highlight that in that poem, she speaks of the bird that's free and is able to go wherever it wants. But the caged bird has clipped wings, can only cry out for freedom. So what we need to do is take those children who are unaware of who we are, whose wings have been clipped, is to give them the knowledge that they need so that they too one day can be free. And there's so much more that I could say. I'm just proud that I've been given the opportunity to share this morning, and that I have you women here to share with me. I've learned so much since I've been involved with the Community Cafe about what you guys are doing, not only in the community, but also in your daily lives. And I don't know if you guys have any questions, but we will, as a community, Advocates for Action, if anyone would like any resources on African history, books for children on what our ancestors have done, we will make the links available in our Cradle to Career Advocates page, because it's not only for Black children, but it's for all children, because knowledge is the great equalizer. When you know who you are, there's nothing anyone could say to put you down, because as long as you're free within your soul and your spirit, no one can break you.
I got my mic off and I'm clapping. We went to school this morning. Thank you so much, Nadona. Imagine if we taught strength and power of where we come from instead of the docile picture that is painted. You know, we're getting there, and it starts with people like you, Nadona, who continue to carry this story on, and to share and to provide resources, because I was grown till I learned so much of, you know, the history that we are beginning to unfold. And I don't want it to be like that for generations behind us. We should know early about Queen Zinga, you know, and I was a grown person when I learned about her and a lot of the revolutions. So thank you. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I feel empowered. I feel great. What a wonderful way to start off Black History Month. Miss Betty said for her, what it means to be Black is the strength, confidence, and power. She also told me that was Curtis Mayfield on that song I was talking about. So I'm going to try to get Mr. Mann to get that played for us over this month. It's a great, great song. Ms. Wetlow is watching with us, and Taya and Ty came on for a minute in between getting ready this morning. Miss Charlene said, we must tell our stories to our children. We must be the storytellers. We have all the stories. And she's absolutely right. And I think there were generations that had missed stories because they felt too painful to tell. But we have to stop being afraid, and we have to share as a people. I know our community is tight to the chest and a lot of secrets in our community and our families, but we have to begin to share and tell the stories. I'm looking at our screen and I see Miss Lamont. Yvonne Lamont is part of our Foster Senior Club, and they were on last week. So Miss Lamont came on this week too, but she is Black History. I don't know if you can hear me, Miss Lamont. Maybe you could turn your camera on and tell us what it means to you to be Black. We have some real Black history right on the show. Maybe that wasn't by accident. Ms. Lamont, can you hear me? Well, we see you, and we're glad you're joining us here with you. We always love to hear from our seniors, and that's another great way to hear the story. Hear the stories, hear about what not only, you know, we can just see what Evanston was like 60, 70, 80 years ago. The Foster Senior Club is rich with history. So thank you, Ms. Lamont, for joining us. And we'd love to see you, but thank you for listening. Before we get off the air, we've done really, really well. Can we share our maybe favorite current Black history moment as we get out the air? Our favorite current. I know we had a lot of past ones, but maybe a favorite current Black history moment. I'm gonna start with you, Amber.
Current as in like today current? Well, I'm gonna just focus on the last maybe decade. my favorite moment was when I saw President Obama in that White House, and Michelle and Sasha and Malia in that White House. I cried. I remember when I voted, I walked to the voting poll. I don't even remember what the weather was like. I walked to the voting poll. I was just so excited, and I kind of just knew in my heart that it would happen. And that
you went mute, but that's a wonderful moment.
and just something that kind of set the tone for me, just in my early adulthood.
Nice. I think for a lot of us, Amber. Thank you, Jamie.
I would have to say they just aired the Emmett Till story. And of course, we've heard about it, we learned about it in school, but to actually see the series and watch it and to see what Mamie endured and just to see that, you know, it was in Chicago, you know, they lived in Chicago, and just to watch how it all played out it was sad, but it taught me more things that I didn't know. So that for me was a moment because she allowed her son's death and the things that they endured to be aired for everyone to see. So that was empowering to me.
Thanks, Jamie. Donna, favorite current Black History moment? And I see Miss Lamont got her camera on. Maybe we're going to get her to talk to us for a minute.
If you had a choice of colors,
Okay.
which one
Mr. Man found the song. We're going to hear it at the end. Okay, Donna, really quick. I think it's about, maybe that's our cue.
Yes, my favorite modern Black history moment, I guess is happening right now. There are a number of countries on the African continent. Oh, no. Before I get to that, I believe it's Barbados that just got their independence from Britain.
Okay.
They are no longer a part of the British Commonwealth. A lot of the countries that were part of the British Commonwealth that continue to be linked to the British Crown, where they have to pay taxes to the British government. Barbados has liberated itself from the shackles of the Queen of England. That's an amazing modern Black history moment. And then also right now we have a number of countries on the continent of Africa that are fighting against French imperialism to get the French military out of their countries. So that for me is an amazing feat in Black history.
Those are some national world moments. So thank you. Thank you. My favorite moment is right here in Evanston. Evanston is the first city in the world to give reparations. So, hey, Evanston. Hey, Evanston. And in what form or whatever it is, it's reparations. Nobody else has done it. So I'm very proud of Evanston, as we all should be. We will go down in history. That's amazing. That's amazing. Miss Lamont.
Yes.
Hey, Miss Lamont is here. Welcome, Miss Lamont, our own Black history with us this morning. Miss Lamont, thank you for joining us. We love you. Miss Lamont, you gonna share your age with us this morning? I know ladies never tell. Can you share with us?
85.
85. Thank you, Miss Lamont, for joining us. And tell us for you what it means to be Black.
Oh, for me, as what's that man name? I'm Black and I'm proud. I'm proud of my heritage and everything because my parents came from a farm in the South. They were sharecroppers and stuff. And then my mother, she took the initiative to move up north. I was raised in Milwaukee. And then she had a look, as they say, the Underground Railroad. Well, she got all of her relatives out of that South and up north there. That is our history and legacy. And then when I came over here, my aunt got me over here. She said they had one of the best schools in the country. And so I migrated here with my children for the schooling system. And I happened to be here when they did their what do you call it? When they changed the schools where it wasn't segregated anymore, back in the 60s, the end of the 60s. And something that I was so proud of since I've been here is that I got to shake Barack Obama's hand and didn't know who he was. He was at the Levy once with, what's that man name with the white hair? Globovich or whatever his name is. They were there doing a campaign, and I got to shake this amazing young man's hand, didn't know who he was at the time, and I'll never forget that. So I'm just proud of all the progress in that everybody is making. And to see a woman in the White House as the vice president, oh, that is remarkable too. So that's it.
Well, Ms. Lamont, you sure did make my day. So nothing is by accident. We done brought our own Black history right on the show with us. Thank you for sharing that. Ms. Lamont, how long have you been in Evanston?
Since 1965.
1965. I beat you. I've been here since 64, but just by a minute. I done told my age. Oh Lord, that's all right. I hope you guys enjoyed this Saturday morning program as much as I did. It's been amazing. Mr. Man done found the song. Please enjoy it as we sign off the air. Wishing you a happy and healthy Saturday. Please stay safe. Join us next week. Next week, we'll be here with our coffee and some amazing, amazing resources. Nadona will follow up on our page with all the resources that you learned about today and more. So we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, Mr. Ma.
If you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose, my brothers? If there was no day or night, which would you prefer to be right? How long have you hated your white teacher who told you you love your black preacher? Do you respect your brother's woman friend and share with black folks not of kin? People must prove to the people a better day is coming for you and for me. With just a little bit more education and love for our nation would make a better society. Now some of us
listening to Evanston Cradle to Career Advocates for Action on Radio La Difference. Please tune in again next Saturday at 10 a.m. for another show.